Let the man who broke our hearts feel our pain. Let his pride dry like yam in Hamatan.
They say money does not buy happiness. But you see in Umweze, money doesn't just walk cool. It does it with a full-blown party swagger. And you see that swagger, it belongs entirely to Obinna. Obinna wasn't just rich. He was multi-businesses rich. He owned the Sengvi Hotel, a car wash that looks like a spa for SUVs, a boutique, and a fuel station that charged slightly more because of the sheer status. He changed cars like he changed socks, and you could smell his expensive fresh cologne from 2 streets away. People didn't just know him, they whispered about him. Obinna liked women a lot. To him, they were like accessories, expensive, beautiful, and interchangeable. He used money as sweet words, like a master chef uses spices. He promised promotions, marriages, and entire kingdoms, only to break hearts later, like dry biscuits. That was his beloved annoying habit though. At Sengvi Hotel, a new quiet young woman named Kemi started as a receptionist. Obinna noticed her the way a hawk notices a chick. He called her to his office after closing hours one evening. Kemi, he purred, leaning back in his executive chair. I have a mighty plan for you. Next month, you are the manager. How do you see that? Kemi's head swelled with happiness. She was already practicing her managerial tone in the mirror. She believed every word. But Obinna wasn't interested in her managerial skills. He wanted personal loyalty. He wanted things he only articulated when the door was closed. Kemi tried to please him, running errands, staying late, waiting for the golden promotion. Later, when she finally asked about the job title, Obinna let out a booming laugh that echoed off the leather walls. Manager, who told you promotions fall from the ceiling like coconuts? Go back to your desk, I beg. Kemi felt like a rapper that had been used and tossed. She left the job faster than a politician changes parties. Obinna advertised a job for a new branch, and the queue of hopefuls was longer than a market day. In the interview, he had a special trick. In this place, we like people who can share a personal smile. If you can't smile with the boss, you can't blend with the brand, he said. First came Amaka. She was sharp, serious, and had a face that meant business. Obinna cracked his best jokes. She only gave him the polite head nod reserved for boring sermons. He didn't like her lack of enthusiasm for his charm. He tried to suggest a private follow-up meeting, but she refused, cold as ice. Next was Sandra. She was eager and hopeful. When Obinna made his suggestions, she giggled and agreed to meet him later. She was already spending her first salary in her head. But when the results dropped, Obinna hired a quiet young man named John. Sandra cried a river of tears. She had given up her principles for a job that never arrived. Near his fuel station, a sweet mango seller named Ify set up shop every morning. Obinna loved to stop, buy a mango, and drop a heavy compliment. He told Ify things that made her heart melt faster than ice cream in the sun. He promised her forever a house and a life away from the roadside heat. Later, she found herself pregnant and rushed to tell him the happy news. Obinna looked at her like she was a faulty tire. My sister, this one no go work for me. Find who you know, I beg. Ify wept by her stall. The town whispered. Obinna breaks hearts like cola nuts. He didn't lose a wink of sleep. Meanwhile, a quiet revolution was arriving. A rickety bus pulled up at Umweze Community School, and out stepped Amara. She was young, neat, calm, and fresh from university for her NYSC service. The head teacher said, "Welcome, my daughter. We need teachers like you who still know how to iron clothes." The pupils, fascinated by the new face, loved her gentle voice instantly. Amara was focused. She helped students, tidied the dusty classrooms, and avoided all form of drama. One day, her friend Ngozi, a fellow staff member, practically bounced into her classroom. Amara, my wedding is next week at the famous Senkvi event center. You must come, oh. Amara, who usually preferred a good book, agreed politely. The wedding was pure Umwezi style. Music so loud your teeth vibrated, food overflowing, and lights flashing like a disco hall. Obinna was there, naturally. He loved to stand where the light hit him best. Amara arrived with a quiet grace, wearing a simple cream dress that still managed to turn heads. She sat with her friends, laughing quietly, determined to enjoy the night without attracting the wrong kind of attention. But Obinna saw her. He watched her from his elevated corner. Her calm demeanor, the fact she wasn't chasing his expensive shadow, made him utterly curious. She was a challenge, he thought to himself. When Amara stepped outside for a quick phone call, Obinna pounced. He smiled his famous practice smile. Good evening, I am Obinna. I own this place. She smiled back politely. Good evening, I am Amara and I am here for my friend's wedding. He dropped a smooth joke. She gave a polite tiny nod. He pushed harder, using his best charming phrases. She remained untouchable. Then he made the mistake of the century. He moved too close and put his hand casually on her back. He laughed, expecting her to melt. Amara pulled away instantly. Her voice was firm yet low. Sir, please do not touch me again. Obinna, believing his swagger was an armor against rejection, ignored her. He leaned in, ready to whisper his standard line about taking her to his private lounge. That was when Amara slapped him. The sound of that slap was like a thunderclap in the festive evening air. The music seemed to skip a beat. People stopped dancing. Phones rose from pockets faster than a bird taking flight. They recorded. Obinna stood frozen solid. The shock was so complete. His face looked like a stone mask. His pride was wounded worse than his cheek. Amara simply turned and walked back into the hall, leaving him to nurse his stunned ego in the semi-darkness. The video of the slap moved across Umwezi's phones like wildfire. Obinna sat in his luxury car that night, watching the video on repeat. His jaw locked tight. He whispered to his reflection, "You will pay for this, I swear." Obinna's pride, once deflated by the slap, was now inflating with venom. That night, he felt like a beaten king. The next morning, his voice was dangerously calm. He told his boys, "Find that girl, and I mean everything. Her schedule, her family, her weak spots, everything." 2 days later, the information landed on his desk. "Boss, her name na Amara. She lives with her brother Sumto for Umwezi extension. Sumto na good boy, but he don't dey jobless for 2 years. Landlord ready to throw them out." Obinna's famous cruel smile returned. "Jobless brother, oh perfect. Let's see how she handles this problem, and not just my cheek." He moved with the speed of a cobra through a distance manager so that Amara would not suspect him. He sent a glorious job offer to Sumto at one of his hotel branches. Amara was so happy. She genuinely thanked God. "Sumto, your suffering has ended though," she cheered. A week after Sumto resumed work, Obinna began the trap. He ordered his boys to plant highly valuable stolen hotel items in Sumto's inventory area. Then police stormed the hotel one day. Sumto was arrested on the spot, shocked and terrified, not knowing what he did and how those things got into his bag. Amara rushed to the police station, tears streaming down her face. She pleaded, she yelled, she vouched for her brother, but the evidence was confirmed. Days later, sitting alone at night, desperate to find the real owner of the company, she searched online. Her hands shook so hard she almost dropped her phone. The owner, Obinna, okay, the same man she slapped. Oh my God. The realization hit her like a punch to the gut. The job was a bait, she realized. The next morning, she marched straight to his office, eyes red, but her voice steady with fury. "You framed my brother, right?" she accused. Obinna leaned back, completely relaxed. "Smart gear. I knew you would connect the dots." "Release him now," she said. He laughed, a sound that grated her soul. "My dear, you don't give me orders here. You think you can slap the biggest man in Umweze and expect me to send you flowers, right? Go and pray, Amara. Go and pray." Amara felt defeated and walked away. "You will not get away with this, Obinna, I promise you." He waved a dismissive hand. "Get away." That night, Amara cried herself dry, but she wasn't alone in her pain. 3 other women were also weeping in Umweze. Kemi, the receptionist, Ify, the mango seller, Sandra, the hopeful interviewee, and other ladies Obinna had hurt. Their collective heartbreak had one common enemy, Obinna. Desperate and united by their anger, the women met secretly. They walked into a small, powerful shrine deep in the forest, their faces tight with serious resolve. They called out in one collective, powerful voice, "Let the man who laughed at our pain feel his own body fail him. Let his mighty pride dry up like an old river in the hottest sun."
Let the man who broke our hearts feel our pain. Let his pride dry like yam in Hamatan.
Days later, Obinna woke up soaked in cold sweat. His body felt heavy and weak. Worse still, his famous stamina had vanished completely. The man who bragged about his conquest now found his body was on silent protest. He blamed stress. He thought it was work. He swallowed every expensive pill. He secretly called strange herbal doctors. He even blamed the new fancy soap his boutique sold. But nothing worked. He would look in the mirror, who was once his friend, and whisper, "What is this, God?" But the only reply was silence. Obinna, the master player of hearts, was now trapped in his own body. The game was no longer fun. Obinna was fighting a losing battle. His health was failing. His energy was gone. And the pain in his body was a constant, embarrassing reminder. His pride had driven him to ruin, and now he ran to the last resort, the famous powerful herbalist everyone whispered about. The herbalist, an old man whose eyes seemed to see right through Obinna's expensive suit, simply looked at him. "The gods are not mocked, my son. The river of pain you caused is now flowing back to you." Obinna swallowed hard. "What did I do?" "You broke too many sacred promises. Women you abused, babies you rejected, men you framed. It all piled up. If you want to live, you must do just one thing: fix what you broke." Obinna, terrified, whispered, "And how do I fix?" The herbalist gave him a long list, simple but humiliating. "Go to these women, publicly apologize, empower them, acknowledge your children, and you must release that innocent man you wrongly imprisoned." "And what if I refuse?" Obinna asked, his voice shaking. The herbalist's eyes were cold. "Then the course will finish you, slowly, painfully, until all the swagger is replaced by dust." The fear was stronger than his pride. Next morning, Obinna began his public penance. Obinna called a press conference at the Sengvi Hotel. The air was thick with cameras and reporters. He looked like a statue melting under heat. I apologize to all the people I have wronged," he stammered, the words sticking to his throat. "To the women I hurt, the hearts I broke, I am terribly sorry." The cameras flashed like lightning. The spectacle was total humiliation. But as he spoke the truth, a tiny weight lifted from his chest. He went to the women he wronged, hat in hand. He provided funds to set up Kemi with a genuine business opportunity. He paid for a beautiful new store and capital for Ife, the mango seller, and he promised to support their child. He helped Sandra secure a legitimate professional job she actually deserved. And for the first time, Obinna was using his money to build, not to destroy. He realized that empowering someone felt much better than merely controlling them. Finally, he went to the police station. He stood tall and took responsibility, securing Sumto's immediate release. When the young man stepped out of the station and Amara rushed to hug him, Obinna saw their sheer relief. He felt a sudden sharp pang of regret that was more painful and more cleansing than the curse. Day by day, as he made amends, the sickness in his body retreated. Obinna's pride deflated, replaced by genuine humility. The man who had once swaggered through life, treating people like deaths, now greeted them with genuine respect. He learned the universal truth. Pride is a poison. Justice always finds a root home. True power is built on respect, not fear. Obinna, the famous playboy and villain, became known as the man who learned the hard way. His story became a legendary cautionary tale in Umweze, a powerful reminder that money may talk, but to see character, it is the only currency that lasts. I hope you've learned a lot from this story. If you did, please share your thoughts in the comment section, and please don't forget to like the story, do not forget to share, and please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video.